Well, this is all going to be done initially through channels. So let's come over to the channels palette on the right-hand side of the screen. Come down and create yourself a brand new alpha channel at the bottom. That will obviously fill it entirely with black. So by all means, go up and turn on the visibility for the RGB channel so you can see the title in the background. Now, it's worth at this point also just zooming up a couple of clicks up to around 100%. Again, this is a fairly decent resolution image. And just pull this down into the window so we can see what's going on. Now, the reason we've put both of these together is we're basically going to draw a series of elements that we can then use a couple of filters to pull and push around, which will then be used to cut holes through the white type that we see. So we're actually going to begin by drawing some very simple lines. A lot of people wonder how this effect starts. It's quite simply by drawing a couple of lines. Now, what I'm going to do is come over to the shape tool options over here on the left-hand side of the tools palette, and I currently have a rectangular shape tool selected. If you click and hold on that, obviously you have a whole selection of them. Down there, you will find the line tool. So make sure you select that one. Now, also double check that in the options bar across the top, just like we did a second ago, we were dealing with paths instead of shapes. Well, instead of dealing with either of those, I want you to come and choose pixels. Okay, this third icon is simply going to paint a line in the color that we choose. Now, you'll notice that by clicking to go across to a shape layer, I automatically went back to RGB. So do make sure you're back inside your alpha channel, but the RGB channels are visible. You can always see the selected one because obviously it's in gray. Now, the foreground color is currently black. Therefore, any line that we paint is going to be black inside a black channel, which we won't see. So go ahead and just hit the X key, and that will switch your foreground and background colors around. So white is now in the foreground. And then I'm going to change the weight here of the actual line itself from 1 pixel to maybe just 2. Okay, now depending on the resolution of your image, that will change. But all I'm simply going to do is make sure the Shift key is held down as I do this. And I'm just going to work my way through the image, just drawing a series of lines that go from top to bottom. Doesn't matter where they fall. You want to make this as random as possible. Okay, now these are just going to be starting elements that allow us to build on. So make sure that they're not perfectly uniform. A couple of them close together, space them out a little bit more. Okay, so just put them wherever you feel like. Just take your time to do it. And I'm holding down that Shift key as I go so all of the lines become perfectly straight. It's completely up to you and your freedom if you want to make them go at angles. This is all about distress type. Whatever effect and line angle that you have, which makes the effect look good for you, then obviously go ahead and do that. Now I'm just going to hit the Tab key again to get rid of our palettes as we work our way through this. Keep going across the right-hand side here. Okay, that'll probably do for most of the vertical lines, and maybe throw another one in here in the middle. Now, as well as just having one set of lines, it also helps to have a second set of maybe smaller elements that just kind of add some thickness to certain parts of the path as we go along. So again, I'm just going to hit the Tab key to bring back all of the options. And up here in the weight setting again at the top, instead of 2 pixels, maybe I'll bump this one up to maybe 6 pixels. Okay, so this is going to draw slightly thicker lines. Once again, just tab and get rid of all the palettes. And instead of drawing solid lines, all I'm going to do is just draw little sections here and there. This will just add a little bit of weight to certain parts of the image. Doesn't matter whereabouts it is. You can make it interact with other lines on the path if you want to, or just have it bite in from the top or the bottom and just apply a little bit of variance to the settings you've already got. Okay, so again, just feel free to work your way around the outside of the image pretty easily and draw them wherever you need them to be. That's just a fun little process of getting an imaginary idea of what this is going to end up like. Obviously, if it's not what you need in the end, and all you've done is inside a channel, you can quite easily edit it afterwards and apply the changes all over again. So very fun to be able to do these things and change them at a later date. Let's work over here on the right-hand side. Maybe have a couple that zoom in from the side here. Another one there. It's totally up to you. Again, if you want to drag these lines at different angles, you can. Even go horizontally. Don't have to do all of this vertically. It really doesn't matter. It's all about the effect at the end. Okay, so I've got a series of lines there that I'm fairly happy with. What I'm going to do again is bring back all of the palettes, and just to be on the safe side so I don't draw anything else, just hit the V key to go back to our Move tool. Now I'm going to turn off the visibility for RGB so we can see exactly what we've done. Very simply, a set of lines. Interesting looking effect in itself. You could use this as a layer mask on a color adjustment layer or something to apply very interesting changes to a background. Very sort of digital based image here. Looks like a set of computer lines or code maybe. Again, we're going to apply another set of filters to this, which will slightly distort this and make it more ragged.